What's up, YouTube? So got quite a bit accomplished over the past week or so. This should tell you something. Garage is now empty. Car is running on its own power. That's how I was able to get it out here. There's the old donor. And then here is the one with the WRX motor now. Pull this open. As you can see, everything's in, looking good. I am using a Red Bull can for the overflow of the coolant. That's just because I don't have room with the intercooler piping to put the old one in. A little bit of wiring here. These are the headlight wires, and then the airbag sensors that need to go in the front. So same over here, headlight wires. I definitely need to anchor down some stuff like this, for example. It's not really screwed in too well. This is not screwed in. It just, I'm holding the hood up with my other hand, so that's not screwed in. That's just laying there. Various stuff up here, but let me turn it on so you can hear it. It's pretty loud. I have a parent exhaust on it. And I did not know that these exhausts were this loud. But let's turn it on so you can see it. A couple things I have to work on. One, you can see down here the clutch pedal is more depressed than the other pedals. And that is because I need to bleed it more. I bled it for like about an hour, and that was the best I could get it. It still shifts fine. It's just the pedal doesn't come all the way back up. So I'll work on that. Okay, keys in, on position, and make sure it's in neutral. Here we go. See what that check engine light's for. Got an ABS light. That's because one of the sensors isn't hooked up, and the airbag light because the airbags aren't hooked up, obviously. We can look to see what that code is right now. Hold on 1 second. Let's turn it off. You can see what that code is. This is just a standard reader you can get on Amazon for like 20 or 30 bucks. I don't have the rear O2 sensor plugged in, so it could be for that. So that's for the rear O2 sensor. I don't know what I got this one before, and I don't know what it is. Maybe the connection's loose to the mass airflow sensor. It's running fine. For one reason or another, it has that fault show up. Check that real quick. Mass airflow sensors right here. Could be a cable's loose. I'll have to check that and then get back to it. But, so the car's up and running. Can't really drive it around too much because I need to do some wiring for the headlights and taillights. And get that clutch sorted out. Try to make it a little bit quieter if I can. So, a couple things, couple tips here. First thing is make sure that you have, let me go back out there. When you move all the wiring over, don't disconnect anything that you don't have to disconnect. So what I mean by that is like fuses or small boxes, like the security module. So like this, you wouldn't need to disconnect this to take it out of the car. Just unscrew it. That way you don't have to worry about where this connector goes and find it. One thing I didn't do was I just disconnected this brown one and green one and then just brought it over like that. I actually left these fuses in the car, the donor car, on accident. So I was just hunting down wires and seeing, like, I was like, why the hell won't this thing start? Just click. And that's like the main relay. So all I had to do was look in the old donor car and see, like, hey, oh shit, I forgot this. Plug those in and it started up right away. So just remember, when you're going through, leave everything connected that you can, and then kind of move it over. That way you don't have to hunt down for connections and find out where they go. The other thing is the steering column. So when you move from the WRX from the Gf8, you'll notice that it's a little bit tighter. Steering column's a little bit longer, and also the U-joint that connects the steering column to the power steering rack is a little bit longer too. So here is the U-joint. This is from the Gf8. The one from the WRX is going to have a slightly longer rod in the middle, so it'll be slightly longer. So because the body's a little bit longer on that car and it's used to that, the WRX, the Gf8 is not, or Gc8. So what you would need to do is, there's two ways around this. One, you take the WRX one, saw it in half, get it welded a little bit, shorten it out, and then that works. I'm not going to weld. Hate welding. Well, I don't know how to weld, but I mean taking it to someone to weld. I don't want to do that. So there is a way around that, and I'll show you that right now. So to compensate, this is the Gf8 steering column. I mean, I'm using it as an example, but the WRX one's the same. You can't use that U-joint from the Gf8 because the spline count's different. So the threading, if you will, is different on that. And you can't just throw a shorter one on there because, again, it won't fit or it won't connect. So these are the splines I refer to. You can see that there's splines and then a flat point right here. That flat point, let me put this on. Wrong side. That flat point is for the bolt here. So there's a bolt that goes through, and basically it holds at that flat point. So that way it doesn't slide off. So what you can do, instead of sawing a little bit of length off of that WRX U-joint, is to take this flat point, take a cutting wheel or a drill, just kind of run it sideways, and make this flat point go all the way down. So you can see that the flat point kind of ends about right here. What I did on the WRX one was I just extended it down to about right here. So that way I can slide the U-joint on further, put the bolt in down here as opposed to up here, and that compensates for that extra length. It's still a little bit tight, kind of hard to get on there, but you have to take the steering wheel, kind of pull the steering wheel out towards the inside of the car, hook up the U-joint, and then push the steering wheel in, and then it goes in. So that's one tip. The other tip, well, it's two tips actually. The other tip is, this fun begins. I need wire strippers bad, but so I'm kind of making my own connectors this time. Last time I just cut and frayed wires and shoved it in. But so this is the old Gf8 connector, and this is the new WRX connector. These two connectors right here are for the taillights. So this one goes in the Gf8, and this is the one that would have gone into the WRX. So again, before I just would have cut the WRX one that is in the car in the body harness and just wired it in. But now I'm making my own adapters so I can just plug and play. You can look at this and see which ones you need to connect for the taillights if you want. This is just the taillights, getting those working. This took me 10 minutes looking at schematics for one side, and then I can do the other side in like 2 minutes. So I said like all the wiring that needs to be done should take you like the wiring that needs to be done, headlights, taillights. That's pretty much it. The doors can be wired, but don't need to be wired to drive the car around. And I will do those. Obviously, I'm going to do those. Those are just last on my list because it's like 20 wires per door, and that does take a little bit longer. And you're looking through 3 different schematics. You're looking through, because you're going to have to use RS door cards, the newer RS door cards. So you're looking through 97 schematics, 2001 RS schematics, and then 2002 WRX schematics. You're looking through 3 wiring schematics to find out like where wires go, and it's a bitch. So with this one, I'm only looking through 97 and 2002. I'm just seeing what wires go to which, and then lining those up. So black to black, 9 times out of 10, that's for, you know, your ground. And then just because wires are the same color though doesn't mean they go together. Like those reds are similar and they do go together, but I mean then you have a white and green here, and you would have a white down here, so you would think it's that, but it's not. So just be cognizant of that. Again, that took me 10 minutes to do, just to wire up. So again, it's looking at schematics. Wiring up the taillights and the headlights should take you, like, if you don't know what you're doing, a day. If you do know what you're doing, like a few hours. The headlights I haven't started yet, but I mean, the taillights should be wired in here in the next hour. So that's where I am right now. And the next step is this wiring of these things right here so I can drive it a little better. Then the clutch. The clutch will need to be, I told you it needs to be bled more. And then during all these processes, I'm going to be cleaning the garage too. I have a bunch of stuff here on the sides that I want to clean up. And my workbench is still kind of, I mean, I have enough room to do what I need, but I definitely could clean it up a little bit. To put it in perspective, these are all the wires that go to the door. So it's like 20 cables that go to the door. You can see all these right here. That was for the passenger door. This is for the driver's side door. It's just a shit ton. When we work on like taillight harnesses, it's only between 2 vehicles, and it's like 4 or 5 cables. The headlights are 3 cables, so it's a lot easier. But so the motor starts, it lives. I mean, the car starts, looking great. And that's it. That's the update. Thanks, YouTube.